I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I just did a video on the trending news about Senator Godswill Akpabio receiving medical care in the UK. This same period, a senator who was in the Senate from 2011 to 2015 was said to have died after a protracted illness, according to Premium Times. Their correspondent, Abdul Kudus Ogundakbo, wrote a few days back. But there is another allegation trending that a hospital in Abuja requested for $30,000 for him to for him to have a life-saving emergency surgery, but that he could raise only $15,000 for the surgery. I tend to believe the report of Premium Times for several reasons. He couldn't have died in that hospital if that hospital insists on full payment before surgery. But there are key issues that we need to raise. Number one, if they did, then the following must come to our mind. The hospital should be sanctioned, because you can't be demanding for dollars for a service that you will render in Nigeria. A young man was arrested for demanding dollars for his payment in Nigeria here. Why would a hospital in Nigeria demand for dollars when our currency for transaction is in Naira? The next thing is that they wouldn't demand full payment before commencement of treatment if the man had $15,000 already raised, particularly if it is an emergency or a life-threatening situation. Anyway, it's their prerogative. Anyway, it's their business. Anyway, as I have said in previous videos, if there was a good hospital in Niger State, where Babangida comes from, I know Abdul Salam's house is close to Babangida's house on top of the hill. Jerry Ghana comes from that place. Mama Nkotangora comes from the same place with this man. If they couldn't establish a functional hospital in Niger State with all the power they have controlled, shame on them. Shame. Power must go to the north. Power must go to the east. Power must go to the west. When the power comes to you, what do you use it for? Self-enrichment, self-aggrandizement, intimidation. You go and buy things overseas. Now, you couldn't get overseas before tragedy struck. The next question is that Okay, let me say something I wrote here. The auntie to my son's wife in Romania, an old woman, 85, she needed emergency surgery, maybe for intussusception. The small intestine migrated into the large intestine. And they did the emergency surgery, though she died after some weeks after I left Romania. But it was free. People talk about Romania, poor country, It was free. Then we later took her to a private place because there was no person at home to look after her. And my daughter-in-law had two children to cater for. My son had to work. We had to take her to a hospital to be managing the colostomy bag, age, and a lot of factors. She eventually died. The state, the country, gave the family 2,000 US dollars equivalent to help in burying her. That's the country to help in burying her. She's been on pension for many years. Been on pension for many years. When I went last year, I told her, I'll come back and see you. She said she's not sure. She was not sure I will see her again. But thank God I saw her. She gave me a warm hug. I will treasure that hug. That's the country, Romania. Some years back, we had par with them. In fact, our GDP is more than their own. When I went 12 years, 13 years back, it was fine. But coming back now, it has transformed greatly while we are going backward. When Senator was in office, if any person protested against poor health care in Nigeria, he will be among those who say doctors are always going on strike. Doctors are always going on strike. They should take the patients into consideration. Nigeria caught up with him. Sad. The next thing I want to talk about is that the aging process is expensive. As you age, it's not the way you sleep that you wake up. You're like an old car. It's only that you don't have replacement parts, apart from orthopedic surgeons that are now doing hip replacement, knee replacements. I have a schoolmate who needs a knee replacement surgery. Old age is expensive. And so you must save towards that. The next thing is that political wealth dwindles. It dwindles. How could a senator be running around looking for people to donate money? What is 30,000 US dollars that the governor of his state, his friends, his fellow senators in those days could not donate for him? You know, political money dwindles. I know people who are in politics. If you see their buildings today, you see their houses, many of them cannot survive without being special advisor, without being one thing or the other, without their cronies in offices sending them stipends. Some of the cars they drive are the cars government allocated to them that they refuse to hand over. We must prepare for old age. Prepare for old age. Where are his children? You mean his wife had no business that can generate that kind of money. And like one of my friends used to say, cash flow. Always try to have reserve. Always have something you can put on sale, a property or a property that you can immediately use as collateral to obtain a loan. In Ughelli, where I live here, there are cooperatives that can give you 100 million, 50 million. That $30,000 is about 47 million. There are young girls who have money in cooperatives that can get 47 million. What do you need to get a loan of 47 million? If you have 17 million there, you're entitled to 31 to how many million? You're entitled to 3 times that 17 million. That's 51 million, which is more than the $30,000. So, as an old man, invest wisely. As a politician, show interest in national development and maintenance of our infrastructure. We don't have a national carrier. Rwanda has airline. Uganda has airline. Small countries, they have airlines. State governments have airlines. But we don't have a national carrier because of irresponsible leadership. Irresponsible leadership. May God raise men who love this country. Raise women who love this country. Raise citizens who love this country. Let me quickly say this. In Germany, where my son works, there are hospitals owned by the Roman Catholic Church, owned by the evangelicals, that could easily do any kind of medical therapy. And so, we, Dr. Apoki and your mates, who are one idiot was saying that he keeps insulting God's generals in the ministry. Ta! Generals in which ministry? Me, I no be general. Recruit. Ta! Keep quiet. You can build hospitals that will meet world-class standards. Inside your churches, you have professionals. You have medical doctors. You have nurses. You have radiologists. You have optometrists. Instead of big prayer camps that are virtually useless throughout the year, apart from when you have convention and you have meetings. Instead of building mega churches with billions, let's build hospitals, healthcare facilities that can take care of our members. Instead of the private jets, I mean what I'm saying. Dr. Charles Apoki is still my name. I spoke to thousands of Anglican priests in Owerri yesterday. They came from Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Enugu, Ebonyi, Anambra, Imo, all east of the River Niger. And I spoke to them on running an effective church in the 21st century. The book is there. You can place an order, buy 10, 20, distribute to your pastors and your clergymen if you are still interested in reforming the church. I have properties for sale. I have a webinar, a seminar online coming up this month. I have books for sale in the UK, online and in Nigeria. We have t-shirts for sale. Amazon will soon be producing our hard copies. You can order from Amazon. And we have a host of things we do online. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. God bless you.